Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Haha, welcome. This is the Sports Trapp Podcast. And my name is John Trapp. Hey, you're back.
Oh, what?
Mr. Khoa, Wizard of Oz, and also special guest, returning guest for the special 2019 Sports Trapp episode 20. Christopher C. Rod Rodriguez, welcome back, sir. How you doing?
I'm a guest. I thought I'd been on the show.
I know, right?
Take 1 week off. You're the special guest now.
Right.
I'm a special guest now.
Yeah. How you feeling?
Good.
Stomach doing okay?
I wasn't my stomach. I was
What?
just sick. Flu. I don't know. Puerto Rican flu. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, Chris, so we kind of did a point two show. I was trying to, out of respect to you, I didn't want to do this show without you. I wanted this to be the special, of course, special 3-man episode 20 Sports Trapp Podcast. So I couldn't do it without you, bud.
Well, I mean, from what I saw with the last show, it was actually a lot better without me. So I'm a little worried that when they bring the new person in and work, and then you find out they're really your replacement. But then you start training him and you didn't know it the whole time.
Listen.
Until they did 2 weeks later, like, hey, it's not gonna work out. So
I'll say this.
guys,
I feel like you're Verlander, right? And this is Zach Greinke.
ooh,
Right. Of course, I'm Cole. I'm Garrett Cole.
He just called himself Garrett Cole.
Hey. Well, listen. It's
But you need the Greinke though,
It's
right?
my analogy, okay? Wow. So, anyways,
Wait. Does this mean he's leaving? He's about to leave.
Oh,
after this episode.
nah, man. I gotta bring up my people, man. I can't take that fat contract.
John is constantly looking on his emails to see if ESPN has looked at his resume. So you never know, you know what I mean? So,
Hey, man, that's what we do this for, right? No, man. Zach Greinke's the highest paid player on the pitcher in the Astros uniform right now.
Hey, I'll take it.
I mean, if I pay you $1, you're the highest
I'll
paid.
be the highest paid, baby.
hey.
Make it. Put a contract out. No.
At this point, the money Greinke's getting paid is basically off of seniority right there, man.
So today's episode, of course, man, I cannot do this episode without mentioning the fact that we have just come back. The Houston Astros have just come back from a 0-2 series deficit. Now, in fact, we are leading 3-2. Tomorrow night, Game 6, right here, Houston, Texas. We're going to come out and represent. We're going to have some videos. We're going to have some I don't want to jump the gun. I don't want to say we're celebrating just yet, but hey, Game 6, Game 7, we're going to see what happened, what it do. Houston, let's go, man. I'm so pumped up. I'm so ready. I remember 2017, me and Chris, I wish you were there, man. But hey, 2019,
I saw y'all right after, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Right after the...
That's the first time I met you, and I forgot.
Damn, that goes back.
Yeah, hey, man.
All I know is that
I was too busy getting celebrated and getting drunk, getting crunk.
I didn't get home till almost close to 7 o'clock in the morning.
We had to go to work.
I had to take a shower and went straight to work. It was the longest day of my life.
A good minute.
Longest day of my life.
I think everybody that had to go to work the next day had an excuse to be late, and like everybody in the city of Houston, just like bosses and managers and stuff, they're like, it's okay, whatever. Just go, just get to work.
No,
when the Astros released that letter, it was like a template of like, hey, please excuse your so-and-so employee for coming in late or missing work. Because, yeah. Oh, hope they do that again.
I worked at the hospital, and unfortunately, they told me your ass better come to work.
They called him.
And
we emptied this whole.
I was honestly worried that I was gonna smell like alcohol going into work. It's like the worst feeling.
I will say, like I said, I don't want to jump the gun, but listen, going back to our analogy, I am so hyped and so glad that we have Cole, who pitched Game 5. We have Verlander, who potentially is going to pitch Game 6, and if we need him at all, and I said this, who would you rather have Verlander, Cole, and Zach Greinke. If we need them for Game 7, I'll go banging on the table.
You're good.
So if we need them for Game 7, man, I'm hype. I'm ready, and this is what we do it for, man.
You said you're hype?
I'm hype.
You're hyped?
I'm hype.
You oven ready? Khoa, you oven ready?
I'm in the freezer, apparently. I'm in the meat locker, dude.
Oh, man. I don't. That's a.
No, I said you're in the.
That's a NC-17 reference over here.
Listen.
No, you said freezer.
Yeah,
And I swore you said yours is in the oven.
Yo, mine was oven ready.
Oh, okay.
All right. Listen, this is the best time ever to be a Houston sports fan.
It's exciting.
Did you not see the weekend that we had?
I mean, it's a great weekend.
We were 5-0, right?
Well,
or
the Astros won 3. Rockets tonight they won 2 in a row, and then Texas won yesterday.
Yeah. So not counting today, we're 5-0. So if we count today, that's 6-0.
6-0.
6-0, and honestly, what makes this so sweet is that the Astros and where they're at and how they got to the playoffs, got through the Rays, through the Yankees with hard-fought matches, and then having to go against the momentum of the Nationals, who've been playing lights-out baseball, and they actually, compared to the other 2 teams that we played, they actually do equal us in many ways, especially with their own pitching. For us to go down 2-0, for our 2 best aces to go down in Houston and to go back to Washington with basically history against us and finding a way not only to win 1, not only 2, but 3 games in Washington is a tell-all of, like you said earlier, how this team was put together.
Right.
And that's a testimony of their hearts, seriously.
What I liked about it was that when we went to Washington started building their prop and their set for when Washington would have won the championship, and they started practicing it out on the field. Mm-hmm. And there was a picture that was put on Twitter that said that Washington's ready to celebrate already. You know, and I hope that Houston looks at this and sees this picture and takes it as motivation. And I don't know if that was it, but I remember reading just like a couple articles down from that was Justin Verlander took everybody behind the shed and said, players only meeting right now. And Altuve had a big speaking part, and Justin Verlander had a big speaking part. And that was coming from Reddick. Reddick's own mouth admitted that this happened. And after being down 0-2, I think there was a moment of question of their hearts. And not that they were questioning their talent or if they were good enough or not, but are they going to let Washington come in and take their Baby Shark momentum? Now, by the way, and I said this, Baby Shark is no longer allowed in my house.
Not at all. I don't even have a baby yet, but I swear to God, if I ever have a baby and I hear Baby Shark, grounded for life.
And then yesterday, they got 1 base hit, and he's like, that. He took his little Baby Shark index finger and thumb, and it bothered him. He was like, oh. So you get a hit, and all of a sudden, Baby Shark again. Get out of it.
Well,
anyways.
But real fast, that's the problem. They're too busy dealing with baby sharks. They just found out who Daddy Shark is.
Right.
That's all I gotta say about that.
So Justin Verlander takes everybody to task and has them look at themselves inside. And everybody needed to stop worrying about everybody else and start worrying about themselves. What can you do, in my opinion, I don't know if that's what he said, but what can you do? What can you do to play your part? And then, like you were saying, we needed to get more hits to get on base. And then that would accumulate. And then we'd start scoring runs. We'll get in rhythm. We start getting home runs. Not getting home runs first, right? We would get hits, timely hits, get our rhythm back. And then once we get our rhythm back, our timing's back. And once we get our timing back, that's when we start letting them fly.
Well, as you say, look at, we talked about it earlier, but once they started swinging the bats and getting on base, George Springer had 4 stolen bases, right? That's the most that anyone's had in I forgot how long in the World Series. I think they actually broke the record with that. So they started getting on, and even when it was one run there, you're starting to take away the momentum, and then the pitchers of Washington is starting to get in their head, right? Instead of like forcing a home run, the home run's coming natural now because they're worried. I mean, how many times did they kept throwing to first base trying to, basically keep Springer from stealing second? And guess what? He ended up stealing anyways. So, like, that was what I was saying. This was the team that I watched in 2017, which was any means necessary to get on base to score a run. That's what we're going to do. And when the big hits do come, they're going to come. They're going to come in like plenty. You know what I mean? So it's like I said, this is the moment right now to truly be excited to be a Houstonian, especially with this Astros team and what they've done. And honestly, I don't believe in ever comparing greatness, but if they can find a way to win this World Series, I think it's going to be even that much sweeter than 2017. Not to take away from 2017, but this will be a testimony about what Luno has put together, putting the right pieces like a Brantley, bringing Chirinos in, making that trade when everybody set still, like the Yankees and the Rays, the Dodgers to pick up someone like Greinke. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, this is a testimony of what you do to run an organization properly. With analytics, they're great at, but they also brought heart, especially when you look at somebody like Verlander and somebody like a Brantley who is keeping everyone honest and remembering what it means to be great. That means going out there and taking care of business like you're supposed to.
Now, game one, we go down 5-4. Justin, hold on. No, it was actually Garrett Cole, first loss since May, right? I think that kind of gave us a shock, but we weren't out of the game necessarily. Again, we only lost by 1 run. Game two, we're in it until the 7th inning. Until the 7th inning, we almost like we didn't get out of that shock. It was, I want to say it was tied 2-2 all the way to the 7th inning where they blow it 6-2. And then after that, we were just like, we never got out of that funk. And that's when Justin Verlander comes in and says, what's impressive about him having that players only meeting was the fact that he's the one that came off that loss, right? That loss was on him. But the experience and the leadership that he has, everybody still listened to him. As good as we are, we have MVPs, potential MVPs. We have batting champions. We have Gold Glovers. We have World Series MVPs. We have Cy Youngs, and we still listen to Justin Verlander. That's how much of a leader he is. And we were speaking about that earlier, where I think that Justin Verlander is, from the moment he got onto the Houston Astros, he became a de facto leader of this team. And for that moment on, I think a light switch came on. Game 5, Game 3, Zach Greinke came in, did what he had to do for somebody that comes in a trade, and then Urquidy on Game 4 for somebody that is been called a quote unquote bullpen pitcher to start in a World Series 2019. That's your start, and you're not even considered one of our starters. Big balls.
Straight rookie. I mean, straight wet behind the ears. And I think that's what made him so cold, is that he had no emotion. He went out there and just pitched an incredible 6 innings. And not only that, but let's give props to Chirinos for being an incredible catcher. He helped guide that rookie through that whole 6 innings. And I was telling John that at one point when Urquidy wasn't giving, that fastball he saw he had in the early innings, he signaled to the bench like, hey, I think it's time. And you gotta, also give props to Hinch for recognizing what his catcher said and trusting his catcher being like, let's take him out. Right. Because a lot of people, including, Big Papi and Alex Rodriguez, felt like Urquidy could have gone 2 more innings. But there was something about the pitches that Chirino saw that was like, no, it's the right time, which ended up being the right time because our bullpen came in and basically led us to finish, to the finish line. So
the one thing that I think blew open Game 4 and made me feel so much relief in a sense of like letting go of all the stress of being down 0-2 was the moment that our MVP finally broke out of his slump in a big, big way. Bases loaded, full count, Bregman just let it fly, grand slam. And when's the last time you've seen a grand slam in the World Series? It's been a while.
I told Josh, you are witnessing one of the things that many wish they can pull off in the World Series of all things, and that's an actual grand slam in the World Series, a crucial grand slam at that. I mean, that was big.
Then you have George Springer busting out of his slump. Altuve still hitting at a high clip. You have Brantley busting out of his slump. Bregman, I just mentioned, busting out of his slump. Game 5.
Carlos Correa.
Thank God.
You're done.
Please, tipping on 4 foes. 3 for 3. The line drive of the laser of a home run that hits a guy square.
I was like, that's not leaving the park. Oh, it's gone.
Oh, yeah, it kept on going. It's
I was like,
I knew it was going to be over the center fielder's head. And by the way, that center fielder is amazing.
Yeah.
For the Washington Nationals.
Yeah.
But I knew it was going to go over his head, but I didn't know if it was going to keep on traveling out of the park. Mm-hmm. When I saw that guy did you see the guy with the 2 beers? Catches it. I don't know where he caught hit
him right in his chest.
Chest, right?
Yeah. And then like once it hit his chest, he kind of guided it with his beer belly down to the floor, and then he was able to put both his beers down, and it was crazy. Some guy came out of nowhere trying to grab the ball, and then it's like so smooth. And this is when you've been drinking for a while because he was like, oh, and then he puts the beers there, and then next thing you know, he just goes down with this guy trying to steal the ball and just comes up and just like, yeah, I got the ball. Like
notice he didn't throw it back.
Of course not. You never throw any home run in the world, especially of rookie of the year.
Yankees fan would throw it back?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Don't keep me started.
I don't know. I know the Cubs fans won't let you keep them.
No. Let me tell you something.
Really? They'll make you throw it back, and I'll be like, I got an extra ball here. Throw the fake ball. I'm gonna keep the World Series ball.
It was.
People do that.
Go ahead.
That's what reminds me of that clip with that. I don't think it's a World Series or anything, but it's that clip of that boy who caught a ball.
Yeah, and he threw it back.
No, he didn't throw it back. He caught a ball, and he had an extra ball, I guess, on him, but he caught it, and then I guess he did a quick swap, and he turned. There's a girl next to him. Like, look, I mean, they're these like probably 10, 11 years old, and he gives the girl the ball, but she thinks it's the ball he caught, but it's the other ball that he pulled out of his pocket.
That's what's up.
I was like, yo, that's the smoothest thing I've ever seen, and he still got to keep the game ball, the home run ball, but then he gets the fucking points for that too. And
Chris was mentioning Carlos Correa, most home runs, most RBIs, so many different accolades for Carlos Correa. Under 26, pretty soon he's gonna get a fat contract. But I wanted. I mean, of course, we're not done yet as far as the series is concerned, right? But I want to know up to this point, who has been the MVP for the Astros? It's one of the most. Well, I've been thinking about this all week.
I got the answer.
I have no idea.
I got the answer. Listen, I said this previous podcast that the one player nobody was talking about because his season started off slow because of injury is the heart and soul. He was the other person that was leading that player-owned meeting. He's the reasons why we're even in the World Series as we know.
Literally.
When you go back and look at the Rays series and the Yankee series, the most consistent hitter, the one who hit the biggest hits, remains consistent. He's batting .346. Matter of fact, he has the most home runs for a shortstop ever in the history of the World Series, right? Yeah. That is Jose fucking Altuve. He is the heart and foundation.
You mean second baseman?
Second baseman. Sorry, did I say shortstop? It's just because he's so short, right? There you go. No. But literally, as a second baseman, he is literally the most. He's done the most and has been the most consistent since the playoffs started.
Yeah, see, that's the one thing I could say. That's where I look back on not just this series because, like I said, I named all these players and we don't know necessarily one that stands out, which is also a testament of what the Astros are, right?
Absolutely.
But if I could, I'd give an accumulative MVP award to Altuve.
I mean, don't get me wrong. All the players since the playoffs to start have had little moments here and there, right? And they've been crucial moments. But the one person who's been consistent the whole way through has been Jose Altuve. Mm-hmm. He finds ways to make things happen. Think about this. It is very rare to hit a walk-off homer in the bottom of the ninth to take your team to the World Series.
Very rare.
And that's some big
like
poppy stats.
5 times ever that has ever happened.
Absolutely. And when you see somebody, it's big amazing because when people watch Jose Altuve, even when the announcers, people can't understand that somebody 5'6" has the ability to play as if he's 6'6".
Right.
No moment is too big for him, and he seizes every opportunity. He's not scared and he's fearless.
One thing that I do not understand is somebody that swings consistently speaking of Altuve, somebody that swings consistently at the first pitch. I've never seen it before where he bats that well, swinging at the first pitch, and a lot of times he misses it, and then he'll end up getting a walk or a base hit, but it's almost like he's the best behind the count hitter that the Astros have ever seen.
Man, I think he's just that good at watching. His eyes are so good. When you watch him, I mean, I think he swings at the first one just to kind of feel it out for the most time, and when he gets a hit, it's solid. But if he doesn't, he's calculating every single pitch that comes, and I don't know if people really give him enough credit for it, but he's really patient. He actually is really patient.
Yeah.
And so
patient for somebody that swings at the first pitch. That's impressive.
Yeah. And he's a true grinder. And just going back to the stats, man, through the playoffs, in the ALDS, he was batting 350, 348 in the ALCS, and so far in the World Series, 360.
Yeah. He's gotten better.
That's insane, man.
He's gotten better. And again, we talked about it, Jose Altuve Bregman had an incredible year. Brantley had an incredible year. Springer had an incredible year until he got hurt, came back, and started picking up. Carlos Correa, he's been, up and down with injuries. Jordan had an amazing rookie of the year. But the one player that no one kind of forgotten about was the person who is, as of right now, there's no ifs, whats, buts about it. Can no one argue this anymore? But Jose Altuve is the greatest Astro to ever step foot.
Yeah, I conceded that.
Period.
One of the first topics we even had on the show, period, was who is the greatest Astro? And we went down the line of Craig Biggio, Jeff Bagwell, and Jose Altuve. And Chris was automatically, from day one, Jose Altuve. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I don't think he's done enough yet to beat Craig Biggio. Yeah. I no longer say that. I mean, there's nothing... I don't even think that we have to win a championship this year, although I do think we are. But that being said, I do not think that the Astros have to win this championship in order for him to be considered the greatest Astro of all time. That's how much he has been I've given him credit.
The reigning Silver Slugger since 2014.
Let me ask you guys a question. Now we can all say this is just for shits and giggles, especially when this comes out. Please comment in YouTube about what you think or who you think is the greatest sports figure of all time in Houston. But I honestly I've always thought the Hakeem Olajuwon was the greatest sports figure of all time for the city of Houston.
Right.
But now Jose Altuve is very, very close from becoming the greatest sports figure of all time in the city of Houston.
And you know what? I debated you with Craig Biggio, and you have proven your point, and I concede that, right? Not that we were at odds.
It was a fair argument. I grant it.
But this is why I think that Hakeem Olajuwon is still the greatest. And not to say that Jose Altuve won't overtake him. Akeem Olajuwon throwing the first pitch, Game 6, out in Minute Maid Park tomorrow.
Oh, he is, right?
Yeah. So I mean, like, when Altuve shoots the first free throw for the Houston Rockets, then I'll say Altuve is like the greatest.
I think he actually tried to do one of those free throws for for charity.
Oh yeah,
and he missed it last year. That ain't his game.
Hey,
he ain't got a stroke like me. But the reasons why I want to say this is that I don't think there's any when you look at Jose Altuve, if you think about his story, no one wanted to even believe that this guy from Venezuela, even in Venezuela, his own country told him to go home. Like, you're too small for this game.
Right.
This man has been fighting his whole life, and every time he goes up there to bat, like you said, he could go down 0-2, and every time he's batting, look at his bats. Sometimes it seems like they take forever only for him to get a single and a double. He is fearless, and I think if you're a Astros fan, and let's just say you weren't with us, because there's a lot of people that are bandwagon Astro fans. Like, they weren't with us when we had 300 lost seasons and we had a big change, and I
remember being mad because they were getting rid of everybody.
They were getting rid of everybody. But they went back to way baseball should be ran. Altuve has been there from the jump. He was there when the teams were sorry as hell, still putting up these amazing numbers, and no one was talking about it. No one cared, and no one knew who Jose Altuve was.
So, with that being said, I think the Astros are one of the greatest examples of reconstruction, right?
Absolutely.
But now that we have Game 5 over and done with, Garrett Cole being flashed by the ladies on the mound and coming through, winning the game for us yesterday.
Composure. What
is next? Whether we win or lose, what is next for Garrett Cole? And what should the Astros do?
I mean, obviously, Crane already came out and said because of the Greinke trade, there's just no way possible they're going to be able to even offer. We're talking about $35 million a year. We have numbers already, blown up that could be somewhere between 250 to actually 300 million. Either way it goes, people are saying he's going to be the highest paid baseball player ever in the
baseball player, or baseball
baseball player ever.
Really?
We're talking 300. If he hits 300 million, there's no one that's hit 300 million.
I mean, do you think that 300 million, he's worth 300 million?
I say if you have the money and you're the Angels, and listen, go on Twitter and read every Yankees, that's what they are, Yankles. Any Yankees Twitter page, and they'll tell you we need to do everything we possibly can to quit paying for bats and start paying for pitchers. Garrett Cole has proven, I think they were breaking it down today, that it's not that his fastball and his velocity of his fastball. It's the fact that he can pitch every type of pitch, slider, curveball, changeup, in a way that no one else can do. He's all around. And his
fastballs have amazing movement.
But look what he did yesterday. He didn't even use his fucking fastball, and it was killing these boys. That right there, he is worth every penny, especially if you're the Angels and you have somewhat of a decent team and you're trying to take it to the next level. Why not offer him $300 million?
So do you think there's anything the Astros can do to keep him? Do they get rid of players? Do they trade players? Do you restructure a contract here and there? Not that that it works like the NFL, but do you for instance, who's the guy that went to the Marwin Gonzalez? He was a casualty of us in a salary, right? Marwin Gonzalez is about to get paid, and then now, I mean,
and then you pick up Brantley. Listen, if you're gonna, I think the only way you keep Cole, right, besides praying, everybody start praying, is if Cole decides that, you know what, this championship, this morale, this feeling, I may not ever be able to feel this again. I'd like to feel it one more time.
Right.
I think, to me, that's the only way he comes back.
Like as a one.
Maybe he signs for another 2 years, right?
Uh-huh.
But
player option.
Right. I think that the only way we keep Cole is that if Cole decides that, and this is what I've heard about Cole, that all signs point to him signing somewhere in California, right, because that's where his wife and that's exactly, and that's where his heart is. But a championship can definitely change your mind, especially when you think about it. no, whatever team, like obviously Anaheim will have the most money to sign him, and even I heard San Diego will have the most money to sign him. Those two teams, you have to ask yourself, if I sign with them for the next 10 years, the money's great, $300 million, but will I ever experience this again with this type of team, this type of squad? Am I willing to sacrifice, like either way, he's going to get paid. Am I willing to sacrifice being the highest paid baseball player ever for the ability to win 2, 3, maybe even 4 more rings with this Astros team the way it's constructed?
I will say for the Astros organizations, they've been taking some hits this week. That's a hint towards the scandal, or somewhat of a scandal, where a front office executive, assistant general manager, came out and he basically was touting and indirectly, directly saying how we got, was it Rondon? Or no, Osuna. Yeah. We're so glad we got Osuna. Thank God we got effing Osuna. But he was basically being a jerk, basically, and saying and directing it towards women that were within the locker room.
Specifically, this journalist that he already complained about her on record. He didn't want her there because of articles she had written, and also because,
I read a little bit, but I didn't know that much.
Because she had written articles about the acquiring of Osuna, and because she is a big supporter of domestic violence, and she wears
she has a bracelet, yeah.
Right. So he had already went on record complaining of why she even is even there, and she just so happens to write for the Astros anyway. So it wasn't like, you know what I mean. And honestly, a lot of people felt super strong about the acquiring of Osuna last year. A lot of people felt that.
Yeah, and I remember that.
And it was quite. And honestly, I think all of us, even Verlander and Cole and some of the other Astros, were taken back that Luna would even put a player like that. And
well,
of course,
Luna came out and he said, when we acquired him, he said, we want. This is a good thing because they'll bring more attention to it, but we want to be on the forefront of it. We want to be that team that stands up for domestic violence, and we also want to be the team that has a zero tolerance policy, which at first it was tested, but to their credit, it was dealt with, not necessarily at the most expedient manner, but we finally got rid of them. We fired the assistant general manager. He was let go.
And we're not going to even mention his name on here because he's an idiot. So no bad juju here.
Bob Crane came out and basically said that he was done. He was sorry, and that he specifically pointed out the SI writer and said he apologized, and he made all the necessary moves to move forward and move past this and then be better for next time. And he apologized even for the fact that they didn't even react the way they should have from the beginning.
But honestly, a lot of people, and from a face value standpoint, from that perspective, it does look like it was forced because Major League Baseball decided doing a full investigation. Here's the thing. I understand you want to stick by your guys, right? You want to stick by your boys, and you automatically want to assume that whatever's being said negatively about your employees is not true, right?
Right.
But that also means, as an organization, especially when you have this type of coaches and these type of players, you can't risk any bad publicity or anything that's going to bring a negative attention to your team. The way they reacted and how quickly they reacted within less than 24 hours, and then not only that, but basically saying this journalist is fake news, was a bad moment for the Houston Astros organization. And almost felt like that actually put negative juju. And we're all superstitious in baseball, but I feel like that the Astros, for a team that's so big on analytics and researching and looking at all different aspects, they should have researched this before they even put out a statement. They should have went and because guess what? They were so quickly to say, this is not true, she's a liar, basically. And guess who called them out? Our own Houston Chronicle reporter saying, no, we were there.
They corroborated everything. Yeah.
This happened.
Excuse me, Jim Crane was the owner that pinned the letter to the writer. But
yeah, well, they came out afterwards and not recanted necessarily, but I think they recognized that they were in the wrong. The Astros organization, they did release a statement after the fact and said,
They did.
When we released that, that was ill-advised, or I guess without doing their due diligence. And yes, they were standing by their player, but they said that they admitted basically saying we were in the wrong. We were incorrect in that. And
so as an organization, getting back to what I was originally saying about Garrett Cole in this situation, one thing I like that we did with Garrett Cole was the fact that we're coming out and we're saying, hey, we don't know if we can sign him. We're not letting Garrett Cole get all of this media attention and then having them, like, for instance, if you look at what Kawhi Leonard went through in Toronto, the front office didn't say anything but we want to re-sign him. We want to re-sign him. We want to re-sign him. And he was getting badgered with all the questions. And I'm not saying that good or bad, or it worked out for him or didn't work out for him. Eventually, he went to the Clippers. But what I do like for our organization's sake is the fact that we came out and said, listen, we're going to try our best, but we may not be able to sign him. So the responsibility and the responses about coming back is all on us. Not necessarily we're putting the onus on him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So hopefully it works out. You never know. And I'm one of those proponents of, you get this contract, and the moment you can get become the highest paid in any situation, you take it, because you may never have that situation or chance to get that much amount of money ever again. This is literally his lottery. And I'm not saying that he'll fold from now on. I don't know. But hasn't lost since May. That's unheard of. Unheard of. It was basically invincible up until a couple days ago. And so, this is like you were pointing, I don't even know about this, but I know for a fact that he's going to become the highest paid pitcher out there if he takes the contract. But highest paid player? Shoot, when do you ever get an opportunity like that? And if I'm his owner, if I'm his wife, if I'm his mom, his dad, I'm telling him, listen, dude, this is you. This is your opportunity to take care of you, your son, your son's son, and your son's grandkids. You know what I'm saying? So I just appreciate watching him now and what he's done for this Houston city and the Houston team, and see to something that was so magical, so rare to even ever see as a fan.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, dude, like, Cole seems to be the type of person that would be the cocky person, but Verlander is like the real cocky, like, very, very, very blunt and transparent. When you hear Cole speak, he's not only super intelligent and he's very articulate the way he speaks, but he's a very, very humble person. And I know how much family means to him. So I feel like at the end of the day, if you can facilitate and move somewhere where your family's happy and then you're well taken care of, more power to him. We've seen in sports where players leave for all the wrong reasons, and usually it is greed and money. But with Cole, he's been very transparent. It just seems like he's gonna do what's best for his family for the next lifetime, and you can't fault him for that. So if this was the last time that we saw Cole World pitch, all I can say is that for the last 2 years, it's been wonderful to watch one of the greatest pitchers of all time pitch for the city of Houston.
Yeah, his growth has been something special.
Mad respect and love.
So, one last time, what's your prediction? 6 or 7?
I'm going to tell you guys right now, I think it's going to be a tight fucking game. It's going to be the greatest pitching duel for the first 6 innings. And I'm going to tell you who's going to win it, and I'm going to tell you who's going to take it all. Altuve is going to hit a 2-shot home run, and we're going to win this motherfucker tomorrow 2-0.
Ooh.
2-0?
2-0. All right. What you got, Khoa?
I originally said Astros in 7. I think if it goes to 7, we're still going to take it, but I don't see how we can't take it tomorrow, man.
Boy. You looking oven ready.
Ooh.
I mean, it's the only downside, if anything, is that, Verlander had not as great of a showing but I think he's getting back on track. And if he pitches lights out tomorrow, man, I don't think there's any way they could take it. If they don't get their bats hot, I don't see it happening.
We win close games. We win blowouts. We've won every which way. The one thing that we haven't done is given Verlander a win in a World Series.
This is it.
Like we've been saying about all the bats. We said this about Correa. We said this about Jordan. We even said this about Bregman. They're due. And sure enough, they're coming through. Verlander is due. And I believe that Game 6, Verlander is going to pitch one of the best, masterful Game 6 in the World Series you have ever seen, at least coming from him. And we're going to win it. We're going to take it all. I do think that it's going to be a hard, low-scoring game. I mean, Strasburg, he ain't no joke. Only let us score, I believe, one run and in 7 hits. So I think we can touch him up a little bit, but I think we pull it out.
Telling you, man.
I want to say something like 3-1 or something like that.
Think about this, John. Verlander was one after he gave up that loss to say we need to have a players only. You know, in that meeting at some point, if we can just win 2-3 games and bring this back to Houston, I fucking got us. You see it in his eyes out there. You see it when he's out there and he's watching the games. How
he's
excited.
The most excited one.
He is so pumped up. And you know right now while he's in bed, while we're sitting here talking about him, he is sitting there smiling away because he knows tomorrow he's going to go out there and do something so sexy, so oven ready. He's going to go out there and fucking pitch one of the greatest pitching performances you have seen in the World Series. And I'm going to give you one more thing. I can see a co-MVP between Altuve and Verlander tomorrow. Boom.
Really? Okay, so I think first inning is extremely important. He's got to keep those balls down, and after that, we're good to go. First inning is going to tell a lot. They're going to come out. They're going to come out hardcore. The Washington Nationals are going to come out hardcore and try to take this game early. I see us holding. I could almost see it first inning. Bases loaded, somehow, some way, Justin Verlander gets out of that, and it's smooth sailing from there. And
Verlander learns from his mistakes, man.
Yeah.
This coaching staff has found a way.
Verlander,
Let's go, guys.
All right. So, man, how did y'all like this last NFL week? It was tough for us, man. I know you took a week off. You weren't feeling too well, but
man, fuck the NFL right now. Fantasy and picks, all this shit. It's horrible. I'm losing.
Hey, we all just had our best weeks, though.
It doesn't matter. I want to win it all.
So we all went 5 for 6 in a pick 6. So I want to try this new segment because this is the Sports Trapp podcast, and I'm John Trapp. Christopher Rodriguez, man to my right, he's been behind the curtain. Khoa,
what up?
Let him know.
By the way, we had to bring Sexy back, so that's where it goes, man. Little JT
I
for
brought you back.
No, that wasn't.
All right, so we're going to go through these games. We're going to say, hold them up or keep it moving.
I thought it was hold it down.
Hold it down. Hey, yeah, hold it down for H-Sound. Hold it down or keep it moving.
Yeah.
So, Washington Redskins. Oh, no, let's go. Is that? Yeah.
That's the first game.
Yeah, Washington Redskins, Thursday night game versus the Vikings. Vikings 19 over the Washington Redskins 9.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Ooh, dang. Okay, you even had Delvin Cook on one of your fantasy teams, man.
Don't matter.
Yeah, and he's great, but
hey,
nobody didn't see that coming.
6-2, 6-2 Vikings. Seahawks, Falcons. Seahawks beat the Falcons 27-20. Hold them up or hold them down or keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Ain't
No, Russell Wilson. Love right there.
Nah, not right now, man. I mean, it's 27-20 against a horrible team. I mean, just keep it moving, man.
All right. 6-2, another 6-2 team. Chargers pull one out versus the Bears. 17-16. Hold it down or keep it moving.
Hold it down.
I knew this was gonna come.
Hold it the fuck down.
So
what the fuck? I thought we had horrible coaching, but then I saw that game. Wow. Did you see that?
Yeah, no. I mean, okay, listen. Do you really believe that was a bad coaching decision?
You had 45 seconds left. Why not get closer to hit a field goal for a young ass kicker? That doesn't make any sense.
So do you run it or do you pass it?
Look, here's the thing. If you're at a point right now where you're going to keep Trubisky in and you don't trust him, then why is he even in the game? It honestly, like, that's like calling a timeout to take a safety. You had 45 seconds left with a few more timeouts to actually get closer to at least get the field goal higher percentage, right? That didn't happen.
It was a 41-yard field goal, though. Okay, so Trubisky kneels the ball instead of trying to get the extra yards that Chris says that he should have, or the coach should have tried to get. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I cannot fault the coach. Because what do you do? What do you have a kicker for?
It was second down.
I know. But what do you have?
Listen, John, I don't know anybody, even in Madden. Let's just put this in realistic like for Madden. Have you ever played Madden with 45 seconds and just decide to hit a field goal to win the game? Or are you going to try to get down to the last few seconds and get as close as you possibly can to make it easier for yourself? I'm just saying.
I see where you're coming from, and I see where people are upset. And if I was a Bears fan, I'd be upset. But your kicker is paid to kick the ball from 41 yards. You should be able to make that.
So okay, let's just say hindsight he hits it. You're still giving Phillip Rivers 40 seconds, who is really good at coming back, enough time to at least get to the point where he can hit a field goal. If you're gonna lose on a missed field goal, there better not be no fucking seconds left on the clock.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Horrible coaching.
All right. Khoa, what do you think, bud?
I mean, he should have hit that. Yeah. Eddie Pinheiro, man, 41. I feel like now more than ever, at least especially I think this last week, man, kickers have not been doing good. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I've seen more missed field goals and point after attempts than I have in like the last 5-6 years.
Well, can I give props to somebody real quick? I know this is going to be a topic. Bill O'Brien had these same exact situation. And what did he do? He didn't give it to the kicker. He gave it to Deshaun freaking Watson.
Well, they don't have Deshaun Watson. They have Trubisky.
But he made the right play. That's what I'm saying.
The reason
that was after a week of a horrible outing from Kai Fairbairn.
But John, did you see
the kicker missed 2 field goals prior to that?
But John,
Fairbairn missed 2 field goals prior to the opportunity.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing that a coach is putting faith in you as a player to say, hey,
if I am paying you to kick a field goal, the one job you have is to kick a field goal, then you should be able to kick a field goal.
Listen, again, 45 seconds left at second down. Not only to mention that Montgomery, the running back, had a breakout performance. He was running the hell out the ball. Why did they not continue to give him the ball to get closer? To me, a 35-yard field goal is a lot easier than a 41-yard field goal, especially with the way kickers across the board have been kicking the last couple of years. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. New York Giants versus the Detroit Lions. 26-31. Detroit takes it. Hold it down or keep it moving?
Man, I kind of want to say hold it down, man.
Go for it.
What did you? Hey,
hold
say your piece, man.
Man, it's just I'm trying to figure out these fucking Lions because they seem so good, but then they seem so bad. I mean, they almost lost to the fucking Giants.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what's going on, and I just feel like it just seems like there's a lack of discipline because they seem like they got a great defense. I know that the running back is out, but at the same time,
let me help you out with this. The Lions were your dark horse. Well, I get it. Jets were mine, and it looks like the Jets are a far worse team than the Lions are.
They're a horse, all right.
But the Lions are
donkey.
3-3
yeah.
and 1. Exactly where they need to be. This is how they play. They play tight, close games Every game seems like it's a close game. They played the Packers close. Now somebody like the Giants come in and they play the Giants close. They are a 500 team like nobody else in the NFL right now. And that's the bottom line. And I get you have a...
I just, in general, they have a lot of talent. I think Matt Stafford is still one of the best quarterbacks in the game as far as throwing the ball. I mean, I just don't understand. I know losing Kerryon Johnson is huge because a big part of their game is a running game. It looks like they're about to trade for Kenyon Drake. But like at the end of the day, like I don't understand. Like, have you seen them? Like I've seen them where they're in the red zone and they just turn the ball over and do something stupid. I don't get it. Anyways,
yeah, I've had Stafford on my fantasy before, and he gives you points, but I mean, as far as like winning the game, yeah, I'm not really believing in him too much. All right, so Buccaneers travel to Tennessee. Buccaneers lose 23-27 against a divisional rival, Tennessee. Hold it down or keep it moving?
I say keep it moving.
Keep it moving, man. The fuck we talking about?
4-4 Titans. All right. Another divisional rival, Broncos travel to Indianapolis. Indianapolis takes it 15-13. Hold it down or keep it moving?
We're going to keep that moving, man. I mean, the score speaks for itself, 13-15.
Hey, the one thing I'll say is they did something similar to what the Bears just did. The difference is their field goal kicker, who gets paid to make field goals, made a field goal. Not by 41 yards, but by 51. And there was one of the greatest field goal kickers of all time, who gets paid like one of the greatest field goal kickers of all time, Adam Vinatieri. And congratulations, sir.
And there was no seconds left either.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying too. Right.
All right, man. I don't know what to think about this next team. The Bengals at 0-8, and I don't know what to think about this next team. Face the Rams, losing to the Rams 10-24. Hold it down and keep it moving.
I want to hold it down just for fantasy football purposes.
No.
I think that Goff is racist and he only throws it to Kupp, and I'm sick of it. All those talented receivers and running back, and only person who ever gets the ball is Kupp.
Oh man, Gurley
say the same thing about Tom Brady
last year.
You gonna say the same thing about Tom Brady?
No, because Edelman is not white. He's like clear.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck does that mean?
All right, let's keep it moving.
Kupp is white.
It moving. All right. I have a feeling this was gonna be held down. A-Shine, hold it down. Cardinals play the Saints this past week, losing 9-31. Drew Brees finally came back, and it took him about a half.
Who that?
But Drew Brees looking like Drew Brees has always looked. 3 touchdowns, second half. Hold it down and keep moving.
I think we got to hold it down just because I think we need to give praises and dues to a team that lost their franchise quarterback. Bridgewater was able to hold it down. They have probably the most all-around football team right now from a defense, special teams, and offense, and they just got their best weapon back. They didn't even have Kamara either, and they still found a way to win. I think that you still have to look at the Saints as a true contender. And from the beginning of the first season against the Texans, or first game against the Texans to now, they just keep finding ways to win, and that's a scary team.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Latavius Murray.
Hell
Hold
yeah.
it down for Kamara, but also, man, I think Michael Thomas is for the most consistent receiver in the game right now, and even without Breeze, he was still putting up numbers, doing good. I mean, we're talking fantasy, but. It was keeping the team winning and relevant, and with Breeze back, sky's the limit, bro. Like,
I'll tell you what, that defense is nice. The Breeze coming back, but Teddy Bridgewater held it down. Latavius Murray holding it down for Kamara, and to see them keep on winning after losing all that, and they're 7-1 now. So, I mean, you might have something going there in the NFC South.
Shout out to Who Dat Nation. You guys got, like you said, you might have something special this year. We'll see what happens.
All right, so New York Jets and the Jaguars. Hold it down. Keep it moving. I don't even know if I want to tell this the score. Jaguars winning 29-15.
I'm not talking about that game.
All right, we're going to keep it moving because I don't see any ghosts in here. Do you?
Sad. I'm not gonna say nothing. That's horrible.
Nah, man. Anyways,
A ghost of mono.
so the other NFC team that's on the hot rise, San Francisco 49ers defeat the Carolina Panthers 51-13. Hey, hold it down.
I'm sure you're gonna hold it down, John.
Oh, keep it moving.
What if we just say keep it moving? Just to,
Nah, man. Let this man gloat and bask in the light. He hasn't seen this light in a long time. Go ahead, hold it down, John.
Listen, one thing that Chris has pointed out too, he does so well to try to bring down the 49ers, is the 49ers have yet to play anybody significantly above 500. The Panthers were a good test. The Panthers were third best. Hold on. Third best defense in the league behind the New England Patriots and the San Francisco 49ers. I'm just saying, 51 points on the third best defense. Hey, we can only play who's in front of us, right? 7-0, 49ers looking good. I will say, Thanksgiving, you got Green Bay. Ooh. You have the Baltimore Ravens after that. Ooh. And you got to finish it off with the 7-1 Saints. Who that nation? That's going to be the real test right there for the 49ers. Right now, I don't see where I can really, really get happy and think that they're real contenders until they pass that test. If you can make it out of that week or those few games, two out of the three with wins, I'll start saying, okay, I can see them in the playoffs.
I will say this. I think me and John knows that I follow college football and I follow draft. Like, I like watching draft all the way through, and I think the last 4 years have been crucial for the 49ers of really building through the trenches. Even players that John's like, I don't know why we got this player. I'm like, dude, trust me, he's gonna be sick. But like, honestly, at the end of the day, I do say that the Patriots might have the best defense in the NFL, but I think as far as player talent wise, I think the 49ers have the most talented defense in the NFL.
Man, that's the first good thing you said about my team, bro.
No.
Don't let me hold my fist up in front of. There you go.
I guess.
Appreciate you.
Listen, the only problem with the 49ers is this. You can only run the ball so much. You're going to have to end up playing good defenses, and you got to be able to have a quarterback that can make crucial throws. And that is where we're going to truly find out how good the 49ers are. Garoppolo, to me, is truly unproven, and it's going to be interesting when he does face a really good defense that comes after him, especially with the receiving core. I wish that, like, to me, I felt like the 49ers should have personally could have easily taken a chance on Antonio Brown. They need another receiver out there.
Yeah.
They get Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, they got Emmanuel Sanders. So we'll see as he gets more acclimated to the game, to the system. I think Emmanuel Sanders will get better, but I think that we need to see what Jimmy Garoppolo can do. And Chris was saying before the show, at some point, Jimmy is going to have to win a game. So until that happens, again, I don't know if I see them in the Super Bowl just yet, but we'll see. And at some point, like we were saying, Jimmy Garoppolo has to step up. And we're getting him weapons. Tevin Coleman had a monster game. He even caught 4 touchdowns. Breida's caught 4 touchdowns.
Breida got hurt though.
Kettle is always a huge target for Garoppolo. And now Emmanuel Sanders. So we'll see what happens. Shout
out to Richard Sherman. What an amazing interception in that game. Richard Sherman, John knows, my favorite position in NFL is defensive back, cornerback, safety, strong safety. Richard Sherman has always been a top talent, and so that's, I don't know if you got to see it, John, but that interception he pulled off, that was sick. Only he could do that, man.
Well, don't forget Nick Bosa, 3 sacks and 1 touchdown or 1 interception.
Looks like he's starting to get consistent.
46 yards after that. And hey, credit to Jimmy G, even though he still needs improvement. He was 18 for 22.
Right. No. It's. I'm not saying that Jimmy Garoppolo is bad. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't think that he's been put in a situation like Chris was saying. He has to win a game. At some point, your quarterback is going to have to win a game. Can he do that on a consistent basis? You know, we were comparing him to, unfairly, we're comparing him to Tom Brady. But Tom Brady has proven time and time again he can win a game. And we've seen it with Mahomes. We've seen it with Deshaun Watson, who we're going to talk about in a second. But we've never seen it with Garoppolo. We just haven't. And not that's not a good thing or bad thing. I'm just saying. That's a fact.
You can't fault him for having, right now, at least for this last game, a monster game from the defense and from the rushing game. So moving on, the Browns, ODB, Baker Mayfield, played the New England Patriots.
Oh, wow.
And Bill Belichick's old team. And does he not like to just demolish and take the spirit out of the Browns or what? I mean, dude, there was a point where they were running off the clock and he was just smiling. He was smirking. And he wanted to show.
It was the same thing against the Jets when he was doing that too. He was just, and then remember when they those two fouls, it was the what is it, delay of game, and then the offsides, and he just declined them both, and he's just sitting there just smiling. And it took a minute away from the clock. I was like, oh man, this dude is an evil genius.
Right, and it just to the testament. Last week we were talking about Tom Brady might want to leave, right, New England, but it's like to me, it's like, why would Michael Jordan ever not want to play for Phil Jackson? You know, does it make sense for you to go into a worse situation? Because obviously the Patriots are the best situation any quarterback could probably want to be in, right? And you have somebody like an evil genius that figures out a loophole within the rules that if it's a decline of a penalty, you can literally run off the clock, you know, and he's up, right? And yes, they won by, 14 points? But it seems like they won by like 4 or 5 touchdowns. You know, and that's just, you know, every year is a reinvention, whether it's offensively. You know, when they had Randy Moss and Tom Brady was throwing 50 touchdowns. Now it's a defensive revolution, which something that Tom Brady started with was a fabulous defense, you know. So every year, regardless if it's a good offense or a bad offense or a good defense or a bad defense, they figure out a way to be consistently good. And I don't understand why Tom Brady would ever, other than just being a competitive person and wants to get out of the shadows of Bill Belichick, why he would ever want to leave New England.
All I can say is this.
Oh, of course we're holding this down.
Well, all I can say is this. When Michael Jordan came back and he said he played for the Wizards, we all saw how that turned out. I think you stay with what's going to continue to get you to win. Tom Brady is at a point right now where he's not winning games because he's Tom Brady. He's winning games because of Bill Belichick's genius defense and the players he's putting around him. But I will say this. Bill Belichick will definitely have he's talked about wanting to coach in his 70s. He'll definitely have his gig next year. But Freddie Kitchens over there in Cleveland Browns, fired. All that talent could not put it together. He's going to be fired. Can we agree on that? Freddie Kitchens is
I think yeah, he's
gone.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it'll happen, but I wouldn't be surprised he doesn't have a job by the end of the year. I mean, they have a history. Hugh Jackson didn't last the season.
All I know is that there's going to be a good coaching spot next year for the Cleveland Browns because they got enough talent on both sides of the field. I do think they need to trade Baker Mayfield, but that's just me personally.
Right. So I want to. Did you want to add anything?
No, I mean I think we said all of our piece about Tom Brady leaving and whatnot. But I just, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't see it happening. I understand the psyche behind why he would, but it just, you know, Brett Favre after Green Bay and then Peyton Manning after Colts. It's like. There could be an upside to it. I know Manning still won a Super Bowl afterwards, but I mean, where's Tom going to go? And then he's going to still be competitive and beat Belichick at his own game. So
I want to work backwards. These last few games, Steelers and the Dolphins. Steelers messing up my perfect week, going for 5 for 6 of the picks. We all went 5 for 6, by the way. So Steelers 27 over the Dolphins 14. Hold it down or keep it moving.
Let those Dolphins drown.
They're number 1 pick right now, bro.
Tua.
So Packers defeat the Matt Moore Kansas City Chiefs 31-24. Hold it down and keep it moving.
I'm like, Khoa, take this one.
What? You can hold it down?
You want to hold it down? You want to talk about?
All right, let's say one thing. What do you think?
Man, Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, just like
That dude.
Like, even when you take away his receivers, he still finds a way to go out there and make average receivers look like God receivers. I mean, he's just so good. And, I think it's just crazy how Green Bay went from Brett Favre, one of the greatest, quarterbacks of all time, to then getting Aaron Rodgers. If you're Green Bay, you're just like, every year you're just happy with your team because you have potential to be great and go somewhere. And, man, Aaron Rodgers in the Green Bay Packers with that defense and that running game right now, and if they can stay healthy, that's another team that could easily go to the Super Bowl, man.
A couple of years ago, we drafted, and one of my better draft picks in the later rounds was Ty Montgomery. Mm-hmm. And what they wanted to do with Ty Montgomery was a wide receiver / running back. Aaron Jones has taken that mantle, that example, and just become what Ty Montgomery never got to become. And Aaron Jones is, in my opinion, so far, the MVP of the Packers. Don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers is that dude, but it's the first game that Aaron Rodgers has looked like Aaron Rodgers of past, where he had to win the game. But the person that he was throwing to, the person that was the benefactor of these catches was Aaron Jones. So, I mean,
one of the greatest throws and catches I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that scramble and pass to the back end of the corner of the end zone. And wasn't that Aaron Jones that caught it? I mean, for a running back to catch it, and not only catch it, put the 2 toes in, and with the drag, that was sick. And
with him pairing up with Williams too, Jamal Williams, that has been because Jamal, ever since that concussion, man, he's averaging close to 100 yards a game. I mean, he's balling out of control too.
I think the NFC right now is top heavy with the Saints, Packers, and of course my 49ers. But until those 3 teams start playing each other, we're really gonna see who the
gotta count the Seahawks too.
Is.
Count Seahawks as well, man. Can't forget about that.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so last but not least, the Houston Texans defeat the Oakland Raiders 27-24. And I got to say, we're holding this down. Christopher, C-Rod Rodriguez, what do you say of this game? What say you, sir?
Well, I mean, let's be real here. I wasn't here last week to talk about the clusterfuck of coaching that went down, and we lost to the Colts. Again, Deshaun Watson almost won it for us again. And we talked about this, that Deshaun Watson would have MVP year. He'd be the best quarterback in the NFL. And in spite of his coaching, in spite of Bill O'Brien, and that somehow, some way, he would win them a lot of games. We should have won that Colts game in Indianapolis. We didn't. And then, of course, we have to play the Oakland Raiders. And we have struggled immensely in the first half. And it is troublesome that Coach Bill O'Brien has been on record saying we got to figure out how we can come out faster and better in the first half. You've had how many games now to figure this shit out, and it's still not working? And again, you're making some bonehead calls, and the person who is really saving face and making things happen is Deshaun Watson, And now we're looking at, and this is the hardest part to say this, that we said this, that we wouldn't be surprised based off everything that happened in the offseason, the fact of what they did with Jadeveon Clowney, that somehow, some way, J.J. Watt would get hurt. And sure enough, the only pass rusher, the greatest football player that the Houston Texans organization has ever had, the man, the legend, is now going to miss the rest of the season and possibly not even come back next season, he may not even come back at all because he tore his pectoral muscle, which is a very, very big injury for somebody like J.J. Watt. Now you're looking, we could barely get past in the second half against the Oakland Raiders. They almost beat us, and technically we should have lost, but thank God we have Deshaun Watson we trust because he's the reason why we pulled out that win. But this is crucial now because guess what? There's no one stepping in for J.J. Watt. Right. He was already getting doubled and triple teamed as it is. There's no Clowney. He's over there in Seattle.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think that we have the biggest mistake looking back on this offseason was letting go of Jadeveon Clowney. I don't know if it was we didn't want to pay him. I don't know the details of why we did not re-sign Jadeveon Clowney, but wow, what a glaring hole we're going to have. Wow, what a glaring mistake that they decided to do. And at this point, you see Jadeveon Clowney getting double teamed and J.J. Watt right behind him, just as high as a clip at 30%. He was getting double teamed. Can you imagine what that would have looked like on the defensive end? Now, we do have linebackers, and the way our defense is set up, we do pressure the quarterback, but it's not going to be the same.
Not going to be the same.
And so I don't know what this defense looks like after J.J. Watt, and they've already come out and said that they're not going to trade for a edge rusher to replace.
They don't have nothing to trade for.
Right. And so
they have nothing to give up.
How much can Deshaun Watson continue to overcome the lack of aptitude of the coaching staff and the lack of just talent?
We're about to go into week 9, John, and already Deshaun Watson has 26 sacks. Okay? We're already having offensive line issues again. Injuries, and now we're moving and shifting people again when we thought we had the right formula. I said this. I told you, we talked about this earlier today. With the Jaguars starting to play a lot better now, with the Tennessee Titans right there, they're giving everyone a hard run for their money, and now with the Colts still playing big and still still winning close games, we could easily.
That's crazy,
dude. We could easily go 6-10 from this point on, or we could finish 8-8. But we're not finishing anything better than 9-7
wow.
right
So
now.
We're a half game behind Indianapolis. Indianapolis, they had to bye, so they're sitting at 5-2. We're sitting at 5-3. And right behind us, a game behind us, is Jacksonville and the Titans at 4-4.
And we still got to play them.
Woo.
And think about this.
Talk about a tight division.
Think about this too. The Colts, they run the ball more than anybody. Second to them as far as in our division is also the Tennessee Titans. Who is stopping the run? Who's stopping Derrick Henry? Who's stopping the running offense of the Colts? Right? We're in a lot of trouble. And here's the crazy thing about this. I'm glad that we have Deshaun Watson because no matter what, we're always going to have a chance to win the game or steal one or make some things exciting happen. But how much more can Deshaun Watson sustain this? I worry about him getting hurt now.
Yeah, 100%.
Real
and
talk.
He took a foot to the face.
You saw his eye looking over like Sloth from the Goonies.
Oh, you were sipping mojitos and drinking margaritas in Puerto Rico. We were over here cheering on the Texans as they lost to the Colts. But one of the things that I noticed was they had a call of Deshaun Watson being down. But in the midst of all that, which I disagreed with the call, by the way, in the midst of all that, he throws a touchdown. Almost an identical play, but maybe a different play for the sake of it being even more of a difficult play, even more of a magical play. Deshaun Watson almost gets sacked, stumbles a little bit, takes a 360 turn, gets kicked in the face, right? Covers his eye that he gets kicked in. At the same time, he's throwing the ball. Touchdown, Texans eventually go on to win. An amazing play by a potential MVP.
Best quarterback in the game.
Again, how much can he overcome?
I don't know.
And you're
man.
asking this from him every week. Do you see, when's the last time you see the Texans just say, shoot, we got it in the bag. All right, just hand the ball off, run it off. Here you go. Just kneel it, take the game over. and just feel comfortable in the fourth quarter when the clock's running down.
No Texans game is comfortable.
Not at all. You want to know something? I thought about this. The only way that the Texans can come out this, win the division, and make the playoffs is if they say, fuck the defense, let's go all offense, hurry up offense each time, let Deshaun Watson do his thing, be fast-paced, run and gun, and just let him do his thing. Instead of trying to come up with this run on first, run on second, with this lame-ass run game, and then decide to throw later. Like, Deshaun Watson just needs to stay in rhythm from the moment he has the ball all the way to the end, and just let him just be spectacular. You know what I mean? Like, if that means that it's quick passes to Duke Johnson, if it's quick passes to Hopkins, it doesn't matter. Just let him just do his game.
This is how much of a division, of a tough of a division the Texans have. No other division in the AFC has a 500 team other than the New England Patriots in the NFC East, and that's the Buffalo Bills. Everybody else is below 500. Ours, every one of our teams is 500 or above. And that's the division we're in. That's what we're going to have to overcome. And that's what, Deshaun Watson is going to have to overcome. Is incredible.
And don't get me right. Listen, we can talk shit about Tannehill. We all have, but he seems like he's finding a good little rhythm over there in Tennessee. I hate that Mariotti could not finish and he didn't live up to his potential. Jesus, but like I don't know, man. It's tough. And here's the thing about Jacksonville: the running game is tight right now, and right now I think if I'm not mistaken, they're leading in sacks right now in the NFL.
Let me ask you something. What is your outlook on the Texans season for the rest of the way? Because let me call out the names again. Our division, the complete division, is 500 or above. Jaguars, Ravens, Colts, Patriots. Those are the next 4 games that we're about to play. Division, Ravens, who are 6-2. Division, Patriots, who are undefeated.
I think the Texans are going to finish 8-8, and Deshaun Watson is going to have, like I said on our football review, one of the greatest seasons of all time and not make the playoffs.
Can you say definitively, if we make it out of those next 4 games, 2-2, is that a successful 4 games?
I don't know. I feel like the way the season's going already, like even if we do finish 2-2, some more bad shit's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Listen,
it's frustrating.
Will Fuller,
he's hurt again.
Injured again. QT didn't play.
Kenny Stills did not play well.
Yeah.
Dropped a lot of balls.
And so it looks like the Deshaun Watson and D-Hop show again, because I'm sorry, man. I know you like your running backs, but
I don't like either one of the running backs. That's the thing. Listen, for what I've always said this, for what Bill O'Brien tries to do with opening up the passing game with, for Deshaun Watson, I understand why Carlos Hyde is there. He's a banger. He bangs. Okay, that's what he does. Those 4 or 5 yards that may not seem like nothing, they are something because it just makes it easier when the Texans are 4th and 1 for Deshaun Watson to go for it and be able to get that first down, right? We don't have a spectacular, game. Unfortunately, Melvin Gordon wanted to come to Houston, but we didn't have no more draft picks to trade for him because we traded everything to everybody else.
I was hoping, man. I was like, damn, come on, get Gordon.
He would have been perfect for our team. Melvin Gordon would have been spectacular. But right now, the sad thing about it, John, I was going to tell you, is if the Texans don't finish the season let's just say they finish at 500, they finish 8-8, and they don't make the playoffs, we don't have a first-round draft pick. Not this year, not next year. J.J. Watt's probably not coming back. We are sitting on a shitload of money. We're sitting over $40 million. It's probably going to increase next year. But what I was listening to on the radio today was somebody who has insight of NFL. A lot of players, even with all the money, they don't want to come to Houston.
Right. I don't know. I just think that the lack of organization, the lack of somebody running a show, and having some form of direction, I think that doesn't allow for people to look at the Houston Texans as an attractive market. So that goes into free agency, that goes into trying to build a team through off-season pickups who we obviously aren't going to be through drafting. So we'll see, man. NFL is so touch and go. One season they can be on top of the world, and the next season they can be 0-16 Miami Dolphins. But who knows? So I'm gonna take this weekend as a Houston fan, as a Houston Rockets fan, Texans fan, of course the Astros, and I'm gonna enjoy this weekend and this week because we have been undefeated, right?
We're 6-0.
So we've been undefeated. And I don't know going forward what it's going to look like after the World Series.
Ooh.
So, the Rockets won. The Texans won. Astros hopefully pull it out in Game 6. If not in Game 7. Speaking of which, the Houston Rockets, right? Started the season 2-1, won tonight. Was OKC. It was kind of weird looking at Chris Paul in an OKC jersey.
That was weird.
And he did a couple Chris Paul moves. But it looks better with Westbrook on the Rockets. It's still weird to me, but Westbrook on the Rockets looks pretty good. Now, do you think, with the small sample size, have we already proven that the Rockets, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook will mesh and become that dynamic duo that the Houston Rockets and the NBA hope for them to be?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a small window, but they already. I mean, the amount of spacing is going on the floor. The fact that the other night they won against the Pelicans and James Harden had like 28 points and Westbrook had 29 points. They're both killing it in assists. He had another triple. I mean, and that was the one thing. Can he have a triple double with James Harden? Yes, he can.
Right. That was the most impressive thing that I've seen so far.
And he almost fucked around and hit a triple double again today. Ice Cube, anyways, he fucked around and hit a triple double today. And I think that for anyone that says that Russell Westbrook and James Harden is not going to work out, that it's going to be, there's too much, there's not enough ball to go around, are just completely hating, and they just don't want the Rockets to be successful. But honestly, because of the shooters, because of the spacing on the floor, because of how fast they're moving on the ball, I think that once the Rockets get into rhythm and they start hitting these open shots, they've missed a lot of open shots because they're not used to all this running. I really think that it's going to be a challenge for the rest of the NBA to be able to play with this style of basketball with the Rockets.
Westbrook had a 21, a 12 rebound game, and a 9 assists. He missed it by 1 assist. Not because he wasn't passing, but because we were missing those open shots, as you said.
Gordon?
One thing that I
Wake up, man.
really, really, really like about these Rockets, and I even asked you before the show, why is it that we're getting open looks, but we're not hitting at the clip that we used to hit? And one of the things that you had mentioned was that we were so used to getting that ISO one-on-one play that we would sit in the corner and wait for that ball. But what Russell Westbrook likes to do is, as soon as he gets that rebound, he's out and gunning. So a lot of times we're catching the ball off a run. We're catching the ball off of going full 100 miles an hour, complete stop, get the ball, and we shoot it up. So our timing is off, not our shot. So once we get that timing down,
dangerous.
Because the one thing I look at always, and one of the things I always respect about the Spurs, is they always find a way to get that man open. And when I look at basketball and analytics and stuff, what you want to do is have that player open. And eventually, at a high clip, at a high rate, they're going to start hitting those open shots. Absolutely. Any NBA player that's worth anything, especially if they're three-point shooters, that's their bread and butter.
And Westbrook actually looks really comfortable in the offense because he has so much space to move around, whereas he didn't have it in Thunder. You know, he had to force a lot of stuff.
Right.
But he has open lanes for days, and that just makes it so much easier for him because he has shooters for days. It's just a crazy thing about it is he's going up the court so fast. There's a couple of times a night where he was up there so fast, and the rest of the guys were barely over the half court line, and a lot of it has to do with they're just not used to that play. But I mean, there was a one play where he runs and gives the ball to an open PJ Tucker, and there's still 17 seconds left on the shot clock. That's gonna cause a lot. If they can find a way to get comfortable, which they are, you know, players like Daniel House and players like Gordon are gonna be able to hit these shots. Damn, I feel bad for the NBA, man. It's going to be tough. And I know I told my boy Calvin when we were in Vegas, he asked me, should I put money that the Houston Rockets are going to win 55 or more games? And I told him, make that bet because they will. I don't know because right now, because of the parity in the NBA, if you look at teams, there is the Vegas didn't even have the Lakers finishing, plus 50 games. So I think the Rockets will win more games based off the speed and the tempo of the game, and teams just not being able to sustain that. And it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be hard for a lot of teams to be able to match up with the Rockets. I will say we probably need to trade Clint Capella, but that's another story for another day. Man up, dude.
So, have you seen anything in the NBA so far that has attracted you as far as like taking your attention away from the World Series so far? Besides the Rockets,
only thing that I've watched in the NBA is literally the Rockets. I could care less about the NBA. I think I heard the other day that the Warriors got blown out by the Thunder. Who cares? I heard that the Clippers beat the Lakers. Who cares? Because every time I turn on ESPN, all I know is there's only two teams in the NBA, and that's the Lakers and the Clippers, and that's all that matters. So, I mean, I guess the rest of the NBA doesn't even exist. So,
all right, folks. So, that does it for the NBA segment. Not that we're gonna take away too much out of that, but you know, it's funny because at the beginning of our podcast, they said we were too NBA centric.
Nah, man. We said we couldn't wait for the NBA. I mean, we couldn't wait for the NFL,
right?
Because the NFL is just so much. It's just so much parity, and then not only that, but like. I think the reasons why for myself I haven't really been too interested in the NBA is I literally was turned off by I
didn't break it.
Yeah, just put his bat back in there, man. Let me tell you, even when Brantley doesn't have a bat, he's still.
You just broke Brantley's bat.
I didn't break Brantley's bat. I feel bad.
That's bad juju, man.
Nah, he's all right. You can just put it back. It comes off, anyways. Now I was gonna say,
I
like,
swear, if Brantley doesn't get a hit tomorrow,
that's all your fault, John. Don't even fucking come to the house. Matter of fact, it's gonna be me and Khoa doing the podcast next week. Bitch. No, but I don't. The NBA just doesn't seem interesting to me this year. I just feel like we already been told who's gonna be the contenders, and
I just think we got to get into the season and stuff.
Guess,
and then
man.
You got that
it's still
the
early,
NFL,
man.
and right, and you got the
World
I wanted
Series.
to ask you just real quick. Ask you, did you see what Shaq said about the NBA and China relations? And
I never thought I would actually agree with Shaq. I honestly was actually shocked that he did that, and especially since he has such a great friendship with Yao Ming, for him to speak on it with all his businesses in China, man, I think that was respect, because a lot of times he shits on the Rockets, and I thought that was really cool. So
prayers go out to him and his family, because his
Absolutely.
sister passed away.
Yeah, man.
Shaq, man, you're one of my people that I look up to. One of business wise, basketball wise, everything. Even as a commentator, I really, really like what he brings to the table in the game of NBA. Is so much better for him. So
I like Orlando Shaq.
What's that?
I like Orlando Shaq. Also, too, just because we got to get mad love to all of our kick fans out there. He does have one of the greatest debut shoes ever for Reebok, and that was a Shaq pump. That shit was tight, especially in those Orlando colors. I don't know if you remember that shoe.
No.
Oh my god, that was
Shaq pump. Son.
Yeah, the first Shaq was.
I remember the back in the day, you had the Rain Mans. Oh, that's right. Right. Yeah.
That color story was nasty.
I always liked that. I thought
that was the second one.
Shaqnosis.
But this one right here with the pump, it was just a beautiful color story. It reminded me so much of when Larry Johnson had his shoe.
Right. That's what the Converse.
The Converse, man.
That's funny. That's
a nasty. And then he went to like Walmart shoes. It was,
All right. So this week we got the pick 6 coming up.
I'm gonna do something different this week. Instead of just me picking against you guys, I'm just gonna pick.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
What? That's what you
supposed
to be doing.
No,
I picked it.
I try to go against you guys.
I'm not gonna lie. I did that for Miami and the Seahawks. I picked against you guys because I wanted that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up. I'm 2 down from you.
All I hear is excuses of why y'all aren't winning, but it's okay. Whatever.
I didn't make no excuses. I'm just saying what I've been doing.
You're just trying to justify why you haven't been right? Saying that you've been picking only to pick against us.
Khoa, I've been giving you props. I've been telling you how you've been doing great on the picks, man.
Yeah, I know I've been doing great. So
man, fuck you and your picks.
Step it up.
You know what? The only time you've ever been oven ready is with these fucking picks. Other than that, you're fucking freezer.
Eventually, you're gonna have to tell the public what oven ready means.
Nah, man. Nah,
y'all
not ready for that, man. Y'all know out there who's oven ready and who's in the freezer. You know what that?
Sponsor us, Little Caesars.
What?
Right. Good one. Yeah.
Papa John's.
Hot and ready.
So what is it? Oh, I get it, Little Caesar, because he wears the
what, the little guy, the pizza.
Yep.
But that's their pizza, the hot
Greek
and ready.
people that they wear the
toga.
Yeah, the toga.
We want to get Chris wearing a toga on one of these episodes.
Nah.
All right, so Minnesota 6-2 travels to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Who you got?
Ooh.
Does Mahomes come back?
I would imagine so. He's practicing. They held him out even though he could have played.
That's going to be a good game, actually.
I think so. I think we're going to see if Minnesota's for real or not. But, hey, Dalvin Cook is going to be an all-pro running back for sure.
Dalvin Cook can destroy their offensive line. I mean, destroy that defensive line. Oh, that's going to be a good game, too. And then, like, the fact that up until last week, or this past week, Cousins has been just ball out crazy. Thielen's going to come back, I'm sure, right? He's going to come back from
I'm not too sure on that.
I heard he's supposed to come back.
They said a little early in the week. We're doing the show a little early. So we try to get to this World Series, Game 6. So
they both got explosive offenses. But the one thing that Minnesota has an edge on is they do have a better defense.
Better defense, yeah. That's true.
Fuck, man. That's a tough
one.
Khoa?
Man, it's a toss-up. I'm kind of jaded just because I picked Kirk Cousins to start my my fantasy last week over Matt Stafford, so he definitely burned me. But
what's the line?
It's pretty much a toss-up.
Yeah.
I think if anything, I see some saying Minnesota by 1, but this is at Kansas City.
Gun to your head, bro. Gun to your head.
I'm going Vikings.
Chris?
I've said it before. The formula to beat the Kansas City Chiefs is running the ball and playing physical. I think this is Minnesota. They win.
Yeah. Man, I really, really want to pick the Kansas City Chiefs, but I've been picking the Kansas City Chiefs with my heart. I got to go with my gut. Minnesota's on a little roll right now. They can beat you in the air. They can beat you on the ground with Dalvin Cook. And their defense has been pretty good lately, as of late. So I'm going to go Minnesota as well. God damn it. I want to pick against y'all guys.
So that's the same thing like I did last week. Does anything change if Mahomes is back for sure?
I don't think so. I think it's too soon.
Right. I think that if even Mahomes comes back, I don't think he's going to win.
I think if Mahomes comes back, it's against this defense. I think he, especially coming back from a dislocated kneecap, I mean, he really risks getting hurt again. I just think it's just too soon if they play him. If Andy Reid plays him, is because he's afraid that they might get too behind in their record, and that they may not have a good playoff spot. I think he's looking at the playoffs instead of looking at just making sure Mahomes is healthy for the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So we have Chicago traveling to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Chicago coming off that missed field goal loss. Eagles coming off a win versus the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Who you got?
Man, I'm gonna tell you right now. This is the revenge game. Jordan Howard, man, he's come back for revenge. And what I saw last week, man, that running game is kicking. I think Philadelphia is a lot better than the record, so I got Philly.
Well,
Trubisky sucks.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Philly with this one. They're favorites by 5, so nothing crazy. But I should have picked them last week. I'd be 6 for 6 if I did, but I picked the damn Bills. But yeah, I think Eagles edge it out.
So I changed my formula versus the Philadelphia Eagles, and every time I picked against them, they were supposed to lose, and every time I picked for them, they were supposed to win. So I thought that going to Buffalo, the Philly was going to. I thought they were going to win because they were scheduled to lose as far as the book. So they're scheduled to win this game. So I'm going to go Chicago.
Hey.
I'm going to keep my formula.
All right.
San Francisco versus Arizona Cardinals. Who you got, Chris?
I'm not telling you yet.
I'm going to go again. Well, I'll be serious, though. I think our defensive line is made for scrambling quarterbacks. We will make Kyler Murray run his ass off, and we're going to get to him like no team has got to him so far. So I'm going to go 49ers. Defense wins the game again. Surprise.
Yeah, I'm going Niners. I just don't see Arizona is just not playing like I thought they would. And I mean, I hope they have it's a close game and, you know, Fitz goes off or whoever. But I just don't see them beating the Niners right now. So I'm looking for Jimmy G to really complete the team as far as, you know, running game's been good, defense has been good. So if he has a good game, I don't think Arizona has a chance.
It's a hard one for me because it's a Thursday night game. And I hate Thursday night games because, especially the two teams just played on Sunday, I think this, to me, is a trap game for the 49ers. I think the 49ers should win this game, but there's something that tells me that this might be one that they don't come in fully focused like they've been, getting out the quarterback. Kyler Murray has proved that he only needs just a small window to make things happen.
Right.
And if Davis does come back and he is healthy to run the ball, I know they lost Edmonds. Man, I think this game is going to be pretty tight and pretty close. I just think that they're not going to come out fully focused. And that's what happens to a lot of really good teams on Thursday night games after playing Sunday, especially with the blowout that they just had against, which is a decent defense in Carolina. I think this is one of those trap games where they lose it by like a field goal, something really stupid when they should have won the game.
Right.
So I'm gonna go and
that game that Jimmy Garoppolo has to pull it off.
I'm gonna say this: I'm not picking against them because it's your team. I'm picking against them because of the Thursday night game and the trap game and what they should. So I got the Cardinals winning.
All right. I think we should go with the Monday night game now because, I mean, this is a divisional rivalry. This has history. Between the two, the Giants have actually been the last ones to win a championship. Dallas travels to New York to play the New York Giants.
Fucking Cowboys.
On Monday Night Football. Man. This game is always a tough game.
It's in New York, right?
It's in New York.
Shit.
Dallas favorites by a touchdown.
I don't know why they are. What they did, I mean, they lost to the Jets. The last time I felt so strongly about the Cowboys, they cost us with losses by losing to the Jets.
I swear, I'm just gonna keep being burned by
and
Dallas.
They got destroyed by the Jets. The last time the Jets even won was versus Dallas.
And then the last game they played, they lost. Honestly, man, I don't know if their break even helped them get that dysfunctional team together. I think the coaching is just as stupid as it is in Houston. I think the best player doesn't get utilized properly, which is my boy Ezekiel Elliott. I think they keep trying to make a quarterback, trying to make him into a super that he's not. Is our boy Cooper back? Coop, is he back?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I haven't heard any news to say that he's out.
New York just made a big trade for a great defensive player. Barkley's back. You know what? Honestly, I think this might be one of the better games.
I think it's going to be a good game.
I think it's going to be a good game.
Good Monday Night Football game.
I like the Giants coming out, man.
Khoa? You said the Dallas Cowboys by a touchdown?
Yeah, that's the line. I feel like no matter what I do, I'm going to get burned by Dallas because
that's what I'm saying, man.
That's what I'm destined. That is going to happen. But I'm going to side with Chris in this one. I just think it's a great storied rivalry, but I think Giants pull it out.
It's funny, like you said, the Leonard Williams pass rusher for
Jets.
For the Jets, he's anytime I see a team trade one team away, one player away from that team, to me it seems like they've conceded that season. And for the Jets and New York, who's sitting at 2-6, New York feels like they still got a chance to make up and be within the season. Again, sitting at 2-6, that's a tough hill to climb. But if anything, I mean, if they get it within their own division, at the end of the season, that's going to matter. So I think that the Giants are going to go all in. Obviously, they went and got a player from the Jets who they think that can help out their defense. And I think this is a coming out party for Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones is the next great quarterback to play for the New York Giants.
Oh, he's definitely better than Manning. So
well, yeah. But Manning got 2 Super Bowls out of that.
No one knows how. No one knows how. Even his brother's like, how the hell this happened?
We all got the Giants?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Go G-Men. Go G-Men.
That means we're getting burned again.
No. This is the time we finally break it. The G-Men will come through.
Listen. This
G-Men are the cowgirls.
Right.
Come on, man.
I think every week that we've had a Dallas pick, we've all picked the same team.
And we lose.
And it's always worked out the same way.
All right.
But anyway.
Game of the week, in my opinion. And I think that these are two heavyweight coming at them. Patriots are traveling to the Baltimore to face the Ravens. Game of the week. I will say Patriots and the Ravens, you're going to see who the real team is out of both of them. You're going to see we've been questioning Tom Brady. Is he still the elite quarterback? And I think that the Ravens are going to show whether he is or not. They're going to play him tough defensively, and they're going to be running the ball down their throat. New England is favored by 3.5 points. Chris, who you got?
Man, nothing could have been sweeter for Baltimore to have a week off and get prepared and ready for the New England Patriots. And I honestly think that the Baltimore Ravens should have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs. They were the better team, and I think that I think they're really gonna come out and play super hard. And I think this is the week where the undefeated teams lose. I actually think that the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh, you got both of them.
I like Baltimore Ravens winning this. This is just set up perfectly for them. This is the first time we're going to see New England. I gave you grief about the 49ers being undefeated, and yet they haven't played anybody. Same thing can be said about the New England Patriots. They haven't played anybody. This is their first real task against a team that is built to beat the Patriots. We've seen what happens when Bill Belichick has to face a running, scrambling quarterback. He struggles. I believe that the Baltimore Ravens, I think they actually win by a field goal. I think they find a way. Tucker hits a game-winning field goal. I think Ingram is going to be potent, and I think my boy is going to go out there and make a name for himself as Baby Vic. So, I got the Ravens by 3, man.
Khoa, who you got?
I'm going to stick with my gut. I think I'm going with Patriots. Like Chris said, I think this will be a big test for both teams, but I think Patriots. I think Patriots pull it out, man.
Lamar Jackson is a stud. He's a workhorse. The only problem with Lamar Jackson is he is the team, and Bill Belichick prides himself in taking out that one weapon, and you have to beat him another way. And if the trend continues, I see that Lamar Jackson's getting nullified. That defense is another on another level. It will be a close game. It will be a low-scoring game. I think that at the end of the game, it's going to be decided by a turnover, and that turnover is going to be Lamar Jackson just trying to do too much, trying to fit a ball in a tight window, or trying to run on a scramble and fumble or something, and that seals the game for him. And the Bill Belichick legend continues. So I got the Patriots.
Man, I think Mark Ingram's gonna have a big game, man.
Ingram?
Yeah, I think so. I think they have a lot of good running backs across the board. I think they're gonna use. I think the way that the Patriots scheme and use White and some of the other running backs is going to be the exact same way that Harbaugh comes at the Patriots. And I'm telling you right now, man, this is gonna be one of the best games of the season.
Yeah, I really, really believe there's two heavyweights going at it, and they both want to win. And I think that Ravens have a little bit more fire under their bellies to beat the Patriots, which I think everybody circles the Patriots. But being undefeated with that defense, something that at this point at this rate is an all-time defense. So we'll see, but I do expect it to be fireworks. Now. Last game in the pick 6.
Damn.
We going overseas.
London. Game time. 9 o'clock in the morning.
8:30. Oh.
Is it 8:30?
Yeah,
8:30. Okay. 8:30 in the morning. Are you getting up? Getting up to watch this game?
I'm about to set like 16 alarms, but we'll see.
Chris, you got this on the DVR, or you watching it?
I'm watching
live.
I'm watching it so I can get pissed off.
All right.
Wait, who's playing? Right. You didn't even say it.
Houston. Oh, I'm sorry. Houston travels to Jacksonville in London. 8:30 in the morning.
Jacksonville, London. Never heard of that place.
No one has.
So who you got? Wembley Stadium.
I think it's funny how they still have like someone be the home team.
Hey, man.
Stupid.
You're going to see all kinds of fake Jaguar fans out there.
I always wondered that about like the fans over there, like how they decide who they are fans of.
I wonder how the NFL does it. Do they just have it at markdown prices or what? But they fill the stadium.
Yeah.
The stadium's almost always full.
I
it could be the Washington Redskins and the Miami Dolphins, both 0-0, and the stadium will be full.
Yeah. But that's a market that's like they're not jaded or not jaded, but like they don't have the opportunity like us here. We have whole 16 seasons with like 8 games that you can go to. So they got just a couple that they can go to. So they're gonna go see whoever they can. I guess, yeah. So yeah. Houston,
all right. Divisional rivalry. What's the line?
Houston by 2.5.
Ooh. All right. Let me go to you, Khoa, first. This might be an easier pick for you.
Yeah. This is an easy one for me because it's going to be Houston. Are you surprised?
No.
Are you not entertained?
Are you surprised?
Are you not entertained?
Wow.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson. You already said it. Best quarterback in the league, and he's going to show it again. I know our defense took a big hit. So I think if we can stop that run, which I know is tough for us, but if we can do that, Houston's got it.
So one of the things that I've noticed with Jacksonville, even though they lost their best cornerback in Jalen Ramsey, they still are very, very good in the pass defense. Deshaun Watson is good. Given time, he'll be even better. But I wonder if Fuller travels. If Fuller travels and we can get somebody over the top, I think the Texans have a chance. Fuller doesn't travel, and we don't have anybody take the top off the offense. Those lanes are going to get closed up. And I don't have faith in Fuller coming back. So I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Eventually, Jacksonville and Gardner Minshew will do 1 or 2 good plays enough to win the game. So I got Jacksonville. Sorry.
All I know is that
don't be sorry. Dude.
the Jacksonville Jaguars lost to the Texans because they failed a 2-point conversion. They hit the 2-point conversion, they win. The one thing that was surprising about that game is the fact that even with J.J. Watt, no one could get a hold on Minshew. He was killing us, especially because he's a mobile quarterback himself. Losing J.J. Watt is huge here. I think that not only is it huge, I think from a morale standpoint, I think it's huge. I think Deshaun Watson can only do so much. And right now, my main concern is with the Jacksonville Jaguars sacking quarterbacks left from right now and putting them on their backs. Can Deshaun Watson be protected enough to be extraordinary? I don't know. I don't think they can. And I hate this game. I think if it was in Houston or in Jacksonville, maybe. But this is overseas. This is jet lag. We just lost our best defensive player. And you got a team right now that is hungry, thinking if we can beat the Houston Texans, we're right back in the division.
Yeah, at this moment, as it stands, Jonathan Joseph is out. I can't remember. I think it's one of the other cornerbacks is out from a concussion. He got knocked out the game, and let me see, Will Fuller is out at the moment. Those are big pieces, especially when we're thin on a lot of pieces. But let me ask you something. Whitley Merciless, can he do enough to overcome the holes that the Texans have as his defense? Because he's having probably his best season so far to date of his career.
I think that if the only rushing threat that you have is Whitney Merciless, then I think as an offensive line and as a coaching staff, it's a lot easier to plan for as opposed to J.J. Watt. So, and we also have to remember Merciless has been able to get to the quarterback because of J.J. Watt, right?
Right.
Because of the way they've schemed to get him in. Right. They're going to see him coming. Then it's not going to be a surprise. And that's another thing when no one's talking about. Leonard Fournette has been one of the most improved running backs all season long. He's hitting it. He's hitting them holes. The offensive line is opening up. This right here is another trap. I think this is an emotional trap game for the Texans. I think Deshaun Watson does enough to keep the team there, but I just think that he gets sacked too many times to be great. And I think this is a hard-fought loss for the Texans. So, unfortunately, man, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I will be rooting for Deshaun Watson to make some Wimbledon magic. But, man, I don't know, man.
The one thing that we get on their case about the running backs, but the one thing that I can see that is really in our benefit is Carlos had one of his better games versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's, honestly, I think the one way to alleviate pressure for Deshaun Watson, get him open looks with the wide receivers and get him where he got lanes is going to be the ability to run the ball. And if Carlos Hyde has one of his better games, I think Deshaun Watson can pull it out. But I don't believe in Carlos Hyde like you do, but
I don't. Oh my God. Guys, Bill O'Brien, you're probably watching this show right now because it's probably where you get all your, real strategic information from, since you don't have any of your own. But go ahead and just start. Duke Johnson against that defensive line. I think that's the way to go, because then we're really gonna have to start throwing the ball when we're third down and 15, because he's negative 15 yards. He gets pushed back. But anyways, let's go put Duke Johnson in.
I want to know if there's any running backs out there in the free agency market, because I just feel like every pickup that the the New England Patriots have during the season or something, it's like so perfectly timed. And if the New England Patriots pick up a running back and he's any sort of good, I'm gonna be so pissed. So pissed.
Nah, they don't need to, because they have some of the most talented running backs, from White to what's his name, Michelle, to Harris. He's a rookie from Alabama, just sitting there, man. They got Bolden. They got enough, man. They don't need no more. If anything, I was like wondering why the Texans try to go after Drake, but I forgot we have nothing to give up.
All right, so we got 9 minutes left. You guys, you have any off the dome?
Well, I was going to ask you guys because I would curious to hear what you guys had to feel about the Diaz fight and him wanting to back out because he tested positive for unknown substance, and then him saying, "Hey, I'm coming out before." And I thought this made me actually like Diaz even more because in the past UFC's known about these test results and still let these fighters fight, only to go ahead and say, "Oh, he failed a drug test." And then all this controversy. I actually like the Diaz. Like, I'm gonna beat all y'all to this. I'm not gonna because
That's one thing that I said. For you, as a fan that's in and out as far as UFC is concerned, I always thought that you would like Diaz. Diaz doesn't play the game necessarily.
Yeah,
he feels like he is the game. Like you come to him and you watch his fight because it's real. He's not somebody that is a fake martial artist. He does this every day. Like people that come in and they're like I guess fake therapists, and they know what they're talking about, and they're monks or whatnot.
Yeah.
When you meet a real monk, that this guy has lived a life, has done everything as far as meditation and all this stuff is concerned. Diaz is the same boat. He has lived his entire life as a martial artist. I mean, as far as being fit, as far as jiu-jitsu, as far as kickboxing, as far as boxing. And then when you try to play him in a situation of entertainment, and he has to be that the person that jumps when you say to jump, dance when you say to dance, sing when you want. He doesn't play that. He is, I'm supposed to be fighting here, right? So what am I doing all this other shit for? Even in the interviews when he had to build up the fight for Conor McGregor. Yeah. Remember,
he was uncomfortable in that. I remember
he didn't care to do these interviews. No. He's like they'd ask Conor McGregor, "What do you think about the fight?" No. He's like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna whoop your ass." Basically, that's the way the conversations went. Every interview, and lo and behold, Conor McGregor lost to him. The shock around the world was him beating Conor McGregor. And
I will say, though, that Conor did take on that fight last minute. You know what I mean?
No. I get it.
I was surprised he was even hanging
Guess what? A martial artist is always ready.
That's I hear you. But training preparation goes into it, too, when these fights. So I hear you. He gave him in for his money, though.
So one of the things that I thought that was something I've never seen anybody do, whether it's a player or a UFC fighter or even a boxer, is before test results come out, he's like, this is what happened, and this is bullshit. I know what I put in my body. There's nothing that you can sit here and tell me that is tainted because I don't even eat meat. So you can't even tell me that the meat is tainted, right? So he came out and he got on the public's side first. And by that, he preempted anything that the UFC can do. And the UFC and the USADA program that they use had to come out and said, nah, he's good. He can fight. My bad. Or,
See, and this makes me, so this is another thing too. This starts making me wonder how legitimate some of these drug tests are. Because anything, a dust could cause something that's out the ordinary to make someone be suspicious of something.
Chris, it goes deeper than that. If they don't like you, they will figure out a way. Remember that. NFL, MLB, UFC. This is the ultimate chess piece that these organizations have. And for Nate Diaz to take that chess piece and flip it on its head, I'm telling you, man.
I mean, just look at that. They're saying that it's from a vegan multivitamins. You know what I mean? They gives us a bad batch of organic. So to me, like, this just goes. This is why I like and respect the fighters because of the grind and the story of these guys.
Right.
These guys are saying, but I don't like how it's structured and how it, to me, this is honestly, if Diaz did anything, he actually just showed why UFC is just as bad as boxing when it comes to the corruption behind closed doors.
I think that their power is all encompassing, and they don't have anybody to answer to. They really don't. I think that boxing is more corrupted because there's more hands in the pot, but UFC is corrupted in the sense of, and I hate to say that, they're corrupted by their own power. You know, they're the end all be all, and there's no governing body above them, and that's the way that they've modeled themselves, and it's really the highway or no way. And I love the fact that Nate Diaz keeps on his toes. And if anything, any fighter is watching, and you know, you got to toe the line till you get to the point where you have the ability to say something. Not saying that Diaz toed the line, but he got to a point where people started listening. And the fact that Diaz had people's ear, the UFC had to succumb to him.
Absolutely.
Not the other way around.
I like what he did. And honestly, man, I'm really excited for this fight because I want to see Masvidal get knocked the fuck out. I really do. I don't like him at all.
But you know what, though?
I don't like him at all, man.
The guy that he beat just fought again. You remember?
I saw.
Ben Askren.
Yeah.
Ben Askren is probably one of the best wrestlers in the game. Now he fought one of the best jiu-jitsu players in the game.
Got his ass beat.
And he got himself choked out.
Yeah, man. You know how I feel like even with this barbaric form of fighting, you know, in a sense, still have some fucking class. Masvidal to me, just too hood and keep it classy. Like Diaz, I want him to knock him the fuck out.
But Diaz is the same mentality. Just didn't have that spectacular knockout.
But so far what I've seen with Diaz though, even in the fights, he still respects his fighter.
Right.
Even when the shit was hot and heated between him and Conor McGregor, the second time, there was that mutual respect for each other. Like, they went to war with each other, and it's like, I may not like your shit talking,
right.
but you stood toe to toe with me.
So
I respect.
Do you like how the Khabib fight ended with him and Conor McGregor?
Who, Khabib and?
You remember what happened?
You talking about with Conor McGregor?
Yeah. Khabib and Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened?
When everyone started jumping in the thing.
Right. So, I mean, do you not see a problem in that?
I didn't like the Khabib thing. I thought that took away from Khabib's winning. I thought it took away from his greatness.
Right.
I was disappointed in that because all he had to do was done. I told you I'd whoop your ass. Shut that motherfucker up. But all you did was, and I think that I know a lot of people right now are truly divided, but when you go and read about the history between Khabib and Conor McGregor, this has been going on for quite some time behind closed doors. These guys have not liked each other for a lot of different reasons.
Right.
I don't think Khabib as righteous as he tries to make himself out to be. I do think that the guy is not a good guy in many likes, but at the same time, obviously he's the most dominant fighter at this point. But with that being said, the reason I want to talk about it is a lot of news in UFC is Conor McGregor finally came out, talked.
Right.
And he's going to get a new fight. And not only that, he's going to get this fight. He don't want to mention who the names are because he's afraid that UFC is going to fuck him. I believe that. Right? He's playing the smart too because he knows their game. But then he said he wants to fight the winner of these two men. And then from there, he wants to take on our boy.
See, I like that because Conor McGregor is one that has skipped the ladder. Let's be honest, and not to say that he didn't deserve it. He didn't make the most of his opportunity, but he went from basically fighting a couple under the card names and to the championship, and a lot of people felt a certain type of way. Thought that he was getting that push because of his popularity and not because he deserved it. Mm-hmm. Now we get to see him humble himself, go down to not necessarily no names, but people that aren't necessarily championship level, but right there on the cusp. George Masvidal is right there on the cusp. After he would have fight, I think Cowboy Cerrone is a name, Justin Gaethje is another name that's been floating around.
So if he fights either one of those and wins, and then fights the winner of whoever wins between Masvidal and Diaz and beats them, there is no, and I think what he's angry is, there is no denying that Khabib has to give him a shot.
Exactly.
And even if Khabib's already said, I'm not going to give you a shot, then it's no longer his shot because UFC is gonna have to step in and say, no, you're gonna have to fight him because he has fought his way to you.
Right, exactly. There's no excuse.
And I want this to happen so bad because I think if he can beat those two, it would be one of the greatest comeback. I think this would be the biggest hype to any UFC fight in history to fight Khabib in fucking Moscow. That shit would be fucking huge.
I don't know if I would do it though.
He wants it. Listen.
But he went to Russia and did the interview.
Yes, because he did it. I mean, and he even called it. He said if he was gonna say how Russians don't like, he was talking about most Russians don't like Chechens I don't know what he was saying. How a lot of people don't like Muslims in Russia. He was just going in.
Really?
Yeah, you should watch it.
I didn't watch that.
But he said he's focused. I love comebacks. To me, if he could pull this off,
but this
will be one of the greatest fighting comebacks of all time.
It's hard to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning in satin sheets.
Hey, he says he already said he's getting up early. He already said that he's getting up early on a regular basis.
Gaethje would be a hell of a test, but I think he could beat him. Now, Cowboy Cerrone has some tread wear on those tires. Cowboy Cerrone is an easier fight for Conor McGregor. Gaethje's a harder fight, but Gaethje puts his chin out there. Gaethje's not the smartest fighter. So I think that either way, Conor McGregor, if he's motivated, if he's really about coming back, I see Conor McGregor beating both of those. Masvidal, Nate Diaz, that's going to be a fight. Whew. The fight itself between those two is going to be something impressive. But imagine, one of the greatest fights of all time is considered Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor, and you can pick either one of them, right? Imagine Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor fight for a third time.
It would be big. I think that would be
the biggest. To me, it'd be the biggest UFC fight.
The biggest fight until if he was a winner against
exactly.
Khabib.
So,
I'm excited. To me, I know a lot of people out there hate Conor McGregor. I know what has transpired the last 2 years, all the controversies. I know that he's put a mark on his name, but I want everyone to realize before that mark, it was his hustle, his fighting style, his ability to talk this shit and back it up, him to actually do everything he could to get in the ring with somebody like Mayweather to get the biggest fight that any UFC fighter's ever had as far as money goes. This man has changed the game as we know it in UFC. So you may not like him, but all the people who have never liked him have always respected him because he can fucking fight.
Yeah.
And I feel like if his mind would have been in a lot better, I think that he could have done and performed a lot better against Khabib. But I just think that with everything going down, I think he brought too much negative energy. If this is the moment, because I've always felt like Conor McGregor could be considered one of the greatest fighters of all time. If he can go and do this whole, 3-match thing like he's trying to do, man, that'd be one of the greatest sports stories of all time.
I think that people underestimate the fact that Conor McGregor actually did a very good job versus Khabib the first time. So it'd be really, really interesting to see if Conor McGregor can get past and beat that 2-step ladder. You'll probably see the best Conor McGregor in that Khabib fight, and that would be the best opportunity to see who really, really is the best. Like I said, it's hard to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're sleeping in satin sheets, and I think that's what caught him up a little bit. Now that he's had some adversity, legally, unfortunately, and probably within his family, I think that he's kind of had to realign and reshift his focus a little bit and get back to what got him there. And like you said, what he's done for the game has changed it. And not only just for the game itself, but for every other fighter, he has given and raised the paychecks for everybody fighting as far as what they make. And because he's demanded so much, he pushed the ceiling up a little higher. And everybody has followed suit, and everybody, you can see Justin Gaethje talking shit like Conor McGregor. You can see just fighter after fighter, Kevin Lee, and people using that same model trying to get that money like he did. But he's the best to do it so far for the UFC. So,
hey, can we all agree that right now UFC has been kind of dull up until this fight with Diaz and Masvidal? What better way to push UFC again to the forefront by these types of fights actually isn't happening? Because right now, like, it doesn't look like anybody could beat Khabib. right? And I think
that's the thing. Like, you need to have somebody to lead the way, and nobody has taken the reins from Conor McGregor as far as the showmanship, other than say like a Nate Diaz or Masvidal, right? But they're not playing the game, so they're not marketing anybody but themselves. Yes, there's like an underground feel to them, not like the main event feel. Now, Khabib, he's just a strict fighter, and I get that, and I appreciate that. But unfortunately, he's become the bad guy because he's not stepping up to be the face. If you get what I'm saying, like he's the heel because he doesn't want to be the face, and that's because he just doesn't want to be. So people are kind of turning on him as far as mainstream media, and so we need somebody to take that face and anti-hero.
Man, McGregor seems like he wants to smoke, man. I'm actually rooting for him because I want to see those fights, and I want to see if he can redeem himself. I think everybody deserves a rematch, and I just hope that this next time if they do fight each other, that it's about the fighting and nothing more than that.
Right.
Like, leave all the bullshit aside.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to add? Because that was a good. I love talking about the UFC. I could talk about the UFC for days. But I like that Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz getting a little pub. We finally got Conor McGregor and Khabib in the news, and man, who you guys got though?
Who you guys got this Saturday? You guys are big UFC fans, so who do you got? I mean, I already know who I'm picking because I just don't like the other dude, but I respect the other guy. I like his story. I did read up on him.
I think if Jorge Masvidal can get the knockout, but I don't think he's gonna get it. Even Conor McGregor with the heavy hand, he knocked him down 3 times.
Yeah, that motherfucker got right back up.
Nate Diaz, he looks
like Frankenstein in the ring, man. It's like he's a monster.
Diaz is an animal, bro.
I think deep waters, Diaz has it.
Yep.
Round 3, round 4, round
Plus
5.
Diaz's ground game is a lot better than Masvidal as well, too. So
but Masvidal, don't get me wrong, Masvidal is a beast. Masvidal is sneaky good in a lot of different ways. He's a sneaky fighter, a striker. He's a sneaky grappler, and he's knocked out world class kickboxers, and he's gone 3 rounds with a world class jiu-jitsu person who tried to submit him the whole time and didn't. So he's a good fighter, trust me. But Diaz has more experience, and I don't think it's going to be a knockout or a submission. I think it's going to be a decision. Diaz gets it by decision.
If it goes the distance, I think it's hands down Diaz.
Yeah.
I think Diaz. I mean, Diaz is like the fighter's fighter, man. To me, like if you're a true fighting fan, like how can you not like the guy? I mean, he's a scrapper and he's an animal, and it's whatever controversy he has. It's like it stays in the ring, and the mutual respect that he has, and most people have, or all the other fighters have with him. It's because they just know how it's a bad motherfucker. And they even apparently are coming out with the belt.
That's gonna be sick.
They're putting that on the belt for the winner. That says BMF for baddest motherfucker. For whoever wins.
There's no way Diaz is losing this belt. There's ever been a time, but that's
motivation alone. He's like, I want that belt.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying.
I think that Masvidal is motivated by being the underdog, but he's too nice. He's too nice to Diaz. He keeps praising Diaz.
Well, you know why though? Because he's seeing somebody who's exactly like him.
Right. There's a lot of respect.
There's respect there.
But Diaz has the same respect for him, but he doesn't praise Masvidal like that. You see Masvidal almost like we're friends, but we're fighting. I get it, but I love you. But at the same time, it's just like
we know how that's turned out in the UFC when there's friends involved.
I like the Westbrook approach. We're not friends on the court. No, the only friend I have is Spalding.
All right, then I got it, man. Diaz 3rd round knockout, man. He'll knock his fucking ass out, man. And then he's gonna tell him when they finish the fight, then he's gonna be friends with him, and give him his dues. Yeah. He might even let him wear his belt and then take it back. I can see that happening.
You could touch it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Wait, one more thing, man.
What?
Did anybody listen to Jesus is King? Oh. Come on, man.
I've been listening to it.
Kanye West fans, man.
It's 30 minutes long.
37 minutes, yeah.
37 minutes.
Yeah, come on, guys.
It's an easy listen. It's good. It's good. I feel like he did. I don't want to say he didn't dumb it down, but I felt like if you're in church, the verses are like 4 bars long, and it's a repetitive verse. You know, like for two verses, right? I think you can almost say that for these songs. Like, there's a couple songs that's like 1 verse, and you want to replay it because it's a good song. So it's like I said, it's an easy listen. I don't want to say they dumbed it down, but I think it's appropriate. I almost, at times, I didn't think it was a religious or a gospel album. Or I don't know how ever he.
What? I thought it definitely was.
No. If you listen to the music,
yeah,
I don't think you can necessarily say, oh, that's meant for a gospel or a religious album. But you know, of course, like you get into the lyrics, you can tell. But I think he went out to make his music and added the lyrics. You know what I mean? And there's a couple good songs on there. I really like, and they're catchy to me. And I don't know.
Yeah,
I like the album.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like the crossover album of, you know, like gospel and hip hop. And I know there are other Christian hip hop artists out there, you know, like Lecrae and like a couple others.
What has been the reaction? I haven't really looked into it other than my personal reaction. What has been the reaction to the album? Because he kind of goes in and said like he knows the Christians aren't gonna like the album. You know, they kind of criticize.
They're gonna criticize him. You're gonna judge him. Man, you know what? Every time I think that Kanye West, because honestly, that last album he came out with before this album was, I think we all can agree, was a disappointment. Obviously, he was not in his in right place in his life. When I heard that he was going to come out with the gospel album, you know, the first thing that came to my mind is like, man, please don't let this be something where you're just trying to make money off of God. But when you listen to the lyrics, and not only just the lyrics, but how he masters music, from his samples to even like the way he uses sound, voices. When you get a chance, play it super as loud as you can. This man is like, when you say it's really short, when you think about gospel songs are really short. They're meant to be sung repeatedly on a call. That's exactly what he took the best of gospel and somehow made it in a form that is receptive. I can go track for track, but that last track, or the track before the last track with the clips, the way that beat goes into Kenny G's saxophone piece, and then all of a sudden those drums kick in like the old late registration drums. It just shows how masterful and what a genius he is when it comes to mixing music sounds and how he pairs up people, even for a gospel album. The last person who was a pop artist, one of the greatest pop artists of all time, the true genius, was Prince. When he made a gospel album, people were taken back. Why is he making a gospel album? When a lot of people feel like that's one of his greatest masterpieces of all time. I was really shocked, and most importantly, it did come across like somebody who really has formed a real relationship with God. And if this is what's going to bring this man peace, and if anything, and this is what helps people get through some dark times and bring them to the light.
I thought that was a good tip. Like I thought about it as like a projection. Like he's projecting that he needs God in his life to help him through certain situations, and obviously mental health and what he was going through. But then I started thinking, imagine the people that need to hear this. Right. Imagine the people that need to have something that they can relate to, as far as like, oh, Kanye's going through this, I'm going through something maybe similar, maybe something completely different, but they needed to hear this. And I was like, you know what? That makes sense. And like you said, it's short gospel album. I think he had a direction. He had something, a purpose that what he was doing for, what he was going for. I think he nailed it.
Absolutely. And you were seeing how it feels so short. It's so short you keep listening to it again. That's the whole point of it. Because even if you listen to the lyrics, they're actually truly inspirational, motivational, and from it seems like from a really positive place. I didn't feel like it was preachy. That's one thing
Not at all.
about. That's
Not
one
at
thing
all.
about. I've listened to Christian rap or that type of music, and sometimes it's just too preachy and too like, okay, I get it, like, but it just felt like somebody that was just really humbled by whatever's happened to him in the last couple of years. That felt like he's finally found something that brings happiness, peace in his life, and he's just sharing it. And it was, like I said, it was very inspirational and motivational. And I hope that it helps and affects other people that are going through dark times. And again, Kanye West finds a way to be a genius, man.
Yeah, that's not an understatement in any means. So, yeah, I like the album. How'd you like it, Khoa?
I did like it. I said it was 30. Is it 27 minutes? Even shorter. Yeah, so shorter than 30 minutes.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't mean it in a slight, but it's an easy listen.
Yeah.
That close on Sunday, man, it makes me laugh.
There's a few songs that even I think Everything We Need, I listened to it like 3 or 4 times, all over and over. Like you can do a lot of that with this album.
You would never even know Ty Dolla $ign. That's what I love about him. Ty Dolla $ign's on that album. You don't even know it.
I didn't know Kenny G was on the album.
Yep, Kenny G was playing it, and then it goes into those badass drums.
Bro.
The saxophone. Did I say saxophone?
You did say saxophone.
Okay, I want to make sure I said that. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, man, it's some crazy stuff, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, last time, this has been the show.
Wait. No, I'm just playing.
All right. This is the Sports Trapp Podcast. My name is John Trapp. Mr. Khoa from Out the Curtain. Christopher C. Rodriguez. Top 6 picks. We're going to try to keep doing this segment. Hold it down or keep it moving. Try to give y'all something more of a consistency. And hopefully next time you see us, we will be 2019. Oh, what was it? The World Series. I'm getting tired. 2019. Edit this out. World Series champions, Houston Astros. Let's do it, baby.
And for the sake of it, since we're all together and we're this close to each other and we got Khoa's sexy face and a thing, God. I think we need to put all of our thumbs up and get ready to celebrate the 2019 World Series champions. Well, not
celebrate. We're right there.
We're about to celebrate. We're ready. We're about to celebrate.
Oven ready.
Oven ready. Let's do it.
Let's go, Astros.
Let's do it.
Astros right. 6 or 7.
6.
I'm out.
Peace.
Yeah.
The army of God and we are the truth.
Thank you for joining us. This has been the Sports Trapp Podcast. My name is John Trapp. This is Christopher Rodriguez. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, @the Sports Trapp. Check us out on Google Play, iTunes.
Speak your truth, John.
Spotify, and also watch us right here on YouTube. Thank you so much. We out.